For centuries, legends told of terrifying monsters that haunted the seas, skies, and lands. But what if these weren't just stories? What if behind every myth stood a creature that once lived, breathed, and roamed our world? Today, we reveal 7 mythical creatures that weren't entirely fantasy. They really existed, and the truth will shock you.
Legends of the Sea Eater describe a monstrous entity lurking beneath the waves, capable of swallowing ships whole and vanishing into the depths. Sailors claim to witness whirlpools suddenly opening as if a great mouth had formed below them. While the creature itself remains more myth than confirmed biology, its origins may trace back to encounters with giant whales. Early explorers who had never seen such enormous animals often mistook their gaping jaws or sudden breaches for something otherworldly. Blue whales, for instance, can open their mouths wide enough to engulf small boats, creating the perfect foundation for terrifying sea monster legends. Add to this the mystery of rogue waves and disappearing vessels, and it's easy to see how the Sea Eater's legend grew. Though not officially cataloged in science, it reflects humanity's deep fear of the unknown ocean and how reality can spark myths of beasts far beyond imagination.
The Kraken has haunted sailors' tales for centuries, a monstrous beast with massive tentacles said to rise from the deep and drag entire ships beneath the waves. To terrified sailors of the North Atlantic, this wasn't just a story, it was a warning. The truth, however, lies in one of the ocean's strangest real giants, the colossal squid. Reaching lengths of over 40 feet, these elusive creatures were rarely seen alive, but their carcasses washing ashore sparked panic and myth. Fishermen would find mysterious sucker marks on whales, proof of epic underwater battles between squid and sperm whales. The Kraken became a symbol of the ocean's darkest unknowns, a legend born from glimpses of a real predator hiding in the abyss. Today we know colossal squids are real, but their rarity and size still keep the legend alive. The Kraken proves that sometimes myth isn't pure fantasy. It's an exaggeration of reality.
The Cyclops is one of Greek mythology's most iconic monsters, a towering one-eyed giant with strength beyond comprehension. But where did this myth originate? Surprisingly, the answer lies not in human imagination, but in paleontology. Ancient Greeks often discovered the skulls of dwarf elephants, which lived on Mediterranean islands thousands of years ago. To the untrained eye, the large central nasal cavity for the trunk looked like a massive single eye socket. Without knowledge of elephants, it seemed like undeniable proof of giant one-eyed humans. Over time, these bones inspired tales of monstrous beings who built weapons for gods and terrorized mortals. The Cyclops myth is a perfect example of how ancient people tried to explain the fossil evidence around them. To them, these weren't just strange bones. They were signs of giants who had once walked the earth. While no giant one-eyed men ever lived, the Cyclops shows how myths can grow from real, physical remains.
The Megalodon wasn't a mere shark. It was the ultimate apex predator of the oceans. Growing over 60 feet long with teeth the size of a human hand, it could crush whale bones with a single bite. For millions of years, it dominated the seas, inspiring terrifying myths of sea monsters that could swallow entire ships. Ancient sailors feared what lurked beneath their vessels, often reporting massive shadows moving under the waves. Fossil evidence reveals Megalodon's reign stretched across the world's oceans, thriving from 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Some even believe it may still exist, hidden in the unexplored depths, since more than 80% of the ocean remains a mystery. Whether alive today or not, the Megalodon is the clearest proof that sea monster legends weren't just imagination. They were echoes of a real beast that once ruled Earth's waters.
The unicorn is often dismissed as pure fantasy, an elegant white horse with a spiraling horn. But what if this creature wasn't entirely imaginary? Ancient legends may have been inspired by a real beast, the Elasmotherium, a prehistoric giant rhinoceros. Standing over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing nearly 4 tons, this massive animal carried a single horn on its forehead that could grow up to 3 feet long. Unlike today's rhinos, the Elasmotherium was covered in thick fur, making it even more impressive and mysterious to early humans. Fossil evidence shows it lived in Eurasia as recently as 29,000 years ago, meaning our ancestors may have actually seen it. Imagine stumbling upon such a creature. It would look nothing like a horse, yet it could easily inspire the idea of a one-horned mythical beast. Over time, the terrifyingly real Elasmotherium transformed into the elegant unicorn of fairy tales. This proves that even the most magical of myths can begin with something that once walked the earth. Deep in South Africa's Richtersveld Desert lies the legend of the GROOTSLANG, a monstrous hybrid said to be part elephant and part serpent. According to local folklore, these ancient beasts were created by the gods themselves, who made them too powerful and tried to destroy them. But some GROOTSLANGs escaped, hiding in dark caves filled with diamonds. While no half-elephant, half-snake creature exists, the myth may have roots in real animals. Giant pythons, which can grow over 20 feet long, inhabit Africa and could easily terrify early tribes. Add to that the presence of ancient elephant remains and dangerous terrain, and the GROOTSLANG story starts to sound more like a blend of real fears and natural history. Many explorers and miners reported strange movements in caves, fueling the idea that a monster lurked underground. Whether real or myth, the GROOTSLANG reflects humanity's need to explain both the dangers of the wild and the mysteries of the earth beneath. Mermaids have fascinated humanity for centuries. Half-woman, half-fish beings who dwell beneath the sea. Sailors swore they saw them, singing from the rocks or swimming alongside ships. But the truth may be less magical and more biological. Encounters with manatees and dugongs likely inspired these myths. To a weary sailor, seeing the round face and human-like movements of a sea cow from a distance might easily be mistaken for a woman in the waves. Christopher Columbus himself reported sightings of mermaids, though he admitted they were not as beautiful as stories claimed. Across cultures from Europe to Asia, mermaid myths flourished, often tied to the dangers of the sea and the mystery of the unknown. These creatures symbolized both beauty and danger, luring sailors toward doom. Though we now know mermaids don't exist, their myth shows how human imagination transforms ordinary animals into extraordinary legends. And who knows, given how little we truly know about the deep ocean, perhaps there are still mysteries beneath the waves waiting to be discovered. From sharks that swallowed whales to rhinos mistaken for unicorns, these creatures prove that myths often have roots in reality. What began as legends of monsters and gods were often just exaggerated encounters with real beasts. But one question remains. If so many myths turned out to be true, what else could still be lurking in the shadows of our world? The answer may be closer than we think.